So in section 3.6, it talks about parallel lines, and parallel lines are lines that never meet and always have the same distance, and this is an example of two parallel lines.
So the big idea of parallel lines is when a line intersects two or more parallel lines, the angles that are formed have an equal measure.
So parallel lines will always have the same slope, and the equation for slope is y equals mx plus b.
So corresponding angles are when two lines cross by another line. The angles in the matching corners are called corresponding angles. For example, we have angle 1 is corresponding to angle 5, just like how angle 2 is corresponding to angle 6, and how angle 3 corresponds to angle 7, and angle 4 corresponds to angle 8.
These are the two theorems of parallel lines. The first one is the parallel lines and slope theorem. That is if two non-vertical lines are parallel, if and only if they have the same slope. The second one is transitivity of parallelism theorem, and that is if line L is parallel to line M and line M is parallel to line N, then line L is parallel to line N.
So segments or rays are parallel if the line containing them are parallel.
To determine whether non-vertical lines are parallel, you only have to know their slopes.
Okay, so here's an example on how to solve parallel lines. So we know that this angle is 35 degrees, so we know that the angle number 2 has to be 35 too, because of the vertical angles theorem. So then these together have to equal 180, so we're going to do 180 minus 35, which gets us 145. So we know this angle is 145 degrees, so this vertical angle has to be 145 degrees. And then for corresponding angles, angle 1 has to equal angle 5, so this equals 145, and corresponding angles, 35, vertical angles, 35, and vertical angles, 145 degrees. So that's how we find out all the measures.
Of two parallel lines, so you're going to do y sub 2 minus y sub 1 and x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So here are my 2 points of this line. So you're going to do negative 1 minus 3, that gives you negative 4. And then you're going to do negative 3 minus 0 equals negative 3. And that will turn into a positive 4/3. And so you do the same thing to the other side, except you just change your numbers for this line, and the slopes is 4/3, and that is the same as the other. So that is how you find whether two lines are parallel or not, because they have the same slope.
So this is something to remind you of parallel lines. Parallel, 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 not parallel.
All the information in our videos came from the geometry textbooks.